was a historic 4th and 5th round for the UIM F1 H2O World Championship as Xiamen, China, hosted the first ever back-to-back Grand Prix in the series. 2 days, 2 races under the sponsorship of Censtar as the world's premier powerboat racers fought it out for the Grand Prix of Xiamen, followed by the Grand Prix of China. Situated on the southeast coast of China, Xiamen is a major and historic port city with a name that fittingly means Gateway to China. This is a city of ancient wonders with a rich heritage and a proud culture, evident in the many temples and places of worship that still attract pilgrims and visitors today, making it a popular tourism destination with its amazing coast, verdant scenery, natural splendors, parks, mountains, and seaside attractions. Of special significance is Gulangyu Island, one of the first international settlements in China, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where no cars or bikes are allowed. Xiamen is also a modern, industrial, commercial, and financial hub, the skyscrapers of the city center standing as a monument to the bustling dynamism of the city, with the shopping on Zhongfan Road and the cafes, restaurants, and entertainment that the city offers, showcasing the young and vibrant lifestyle of Xiamen. Xiamen is deeply entwined with the sea, popular for its beaches and sailing, which makes it a natural choice for the UIM F1 H2O World Championship, which raced back-to-back Grand Prix for the first time on the South China Sea. The locals gathered in their thousands to the UIM F1 H2O race area to see the boats and meet the drivers, with those brave enough taking the ride in the F1 H2O two-seater. Now let's see what happened the day before in the Grand Prix of Xiamen. In the Censtar Grand Prix of Xiamen, Alex Carella stunned the field in qualifying to take his first pole position in 18 months. Despite a jump start by Peter Marin, Carella soon took control of the race in his bid for a 16th career Grand Prix title for his new team Maverick F1. Behind Carella, Xiamen slipped back to P2 as Jonas Andersson moved up to chase Carella, with Stromoy just behind Andersson, never letting the Team Sweden driver out of her sight, putting the pressure on for 32 laps. Sean Torrente, the defending world champion and world standings leader going into Xiamen, started back in 9th, making his way up to 5th before he was overhauled by his Team Abu Dhabi teammate Dani Al-Khamzi. But when Xiamen and then Al-Khamzi broke down in quick succession, Torrente moved up to 4th. Out ahead, having taken the lead in the opening lap, Alex Carella never looked back, closing out a start-to-finish race win to put 2 seasons of frustration behind him. Andersson held Stromoy off for runner-up. Torrente came in 4th. That result was enough to put Jonas Andersson on top of the world standings at the end of Xiamen, 3 points clear of Torrente, with Stromoy moving up into 3rd, followed by Al-Khamzi 4th and Carella 5th. But everything could change the next day in round 5. The Censtar Grand Prix of China was raced the day after the Censtar Grand Prix of Xiamen, a grueling 2-day marathon with 2 qualifyings and 2 races that would test the limits of teams, mechanics, drivers, and their boats and engines. Crews worked around the clock to get their equipment and setups ready for the historic back-to-back racing. There were 18 drivers from 9 teams competing at the Censtar Grand Prix of China as Grand Prix of Xiamen runner-up Jonas Andersson of Team Sweden led the world standings going into round 5. This is Andersson's first time leading a world championship with just 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, I mean it's really tough because we have been working to rebuild the engines for 2 boats this yesterday evening and almost in the night, so it's tough with a small team, but everything so far feels very good, so hopefully it's stay in one piece.
His teammate Eric Eden also had a good outing the day before, going from last to finish 8th on the day. The team standings leaders, Team Abu Dhabi, have both drivers in the running for the world title in 2019. Defending world champion Sean Torrente is 2nd in the world standings behind Andersson, and there are still 2 races to go, but he needs to figure out what went wrong the day before if he's to bounce back to the top.
Yeah, so I'm 3 points behind now, and I was 3 points up coming in. our goal is always to have our fate in our hands in Sharjah. So we have to have another good race today. Yesterday, once I got into a decent point scoring position, I literally just wanted to maintain and finish the race and get my points and move on to today and know I have another chance to improve. We're here to win championships, not boat races. I mean, that's my only goal when I wake up in the morning every day, is to be world champion. So I want to keep this #1 on the boat.
Torrente's teammate, veteran Thani Al-Khamzi, is lying 4th in the world standings and is always a threat. 3rd in the world standings after round 4 was Marit Stromoy of Emirates Racing. The Norwegian is closer than ever at a shot for a year-end podium, but can she and her team keep pace with the intensity of the racing here?
It's hard for everyone. The mechanics have been working all night, but normally now by this time we are resting, but now we have to get ready, and we will for sure.
The man of the hour is Alex Carella, who ended 2 seasons of bad luck to clinch the Censtar Grand Prix of Xiamen the day before with his new team Maverick F1 and his trusty old DAC boat. He's in the running for a year-end podium. Can he make it back-to-back wins in Xiamen? The home team is CTIC F1 Shenzhen, China, with locals getting behind them. Can Philipp Schiap finally complete a race in 2019? And will Peter Marin continue his consistent form and possibly even push for a podium in race 2 in Xiamen? The Censtar Grand Prix of China will be run on exactly the same circuit as the day before. A 7-pin course with a long sweeping stretch from turns 6 to 1 that has proved especially tricky with waves and winds, having ended Schiap's qualifying campaign the day before, a spectacular crash that sent him high in the air, somersaulting end over end. The circuit requires exceptional concentration and preparation for drivers and teams. In the Rebellion official qualifying, drivers have 3 sessions in their quest for pole position. The field is reduced to 12 drivers at the end of Q1, then 6 at the end of Q2. In Q3, they have the course to themselves and 2 laps in which to set their fastest times for Rebellion pole position. 17 drivers started qualifying with F1 Atlantic's Duarte Benavente unable to start. Marit Stromoy was in the zone and racing to perfection, laying the fastest time in Q1, but her Emirates Racing teammate Bartek Marszalek ended the session in 15th. Alex Carella was also exceptionally fast, second only to Stromoy. Carella's teammate Cedric De Guin was off the pace, however, unable to make it into Q2. Sharjah team's Philip Roms was hovering around the cutoff zone in 13th all session, but with less than 1 minute to go, he found the pace he needed to just get in at 12th at the expense of Blaze Performance's American driver Greg Foster. In Q2, Stromoy was again supreme, sending a clear message to the field that she is a contender. Meanwhile, defending world champion Sean Torrente was doing much better than the previous day, easily making the Q3 cut this time, but no such luck for Thani Al-Khamzi, who was unable to improve on 7th in Q2.
Nothing too much both in the course. Can't find good lap, and I try my best. But number 7, no problem. We have long race. We try our best.
Jonas Andersson also made it into Q3, while his teammate Eric Eden put on a good performance to finish 8th, just ahead of Alberto Comparato of F1 Atlantic in 9th. Yet another rough qualifying for Victory Team's Eric Stark as he spends most of the session on the pontoon, his team struggling to get him back on the water to no avail.
I think this is the worst weekend I had since I joined the Formula One family, and I don't know, it's just everything breaks, and it's just bad luck all the time, and I don't know what to say.
Tough luck again for Sharjah team as neither Sami Celio nor Philip Roms make it into the final 6, out in 10th and 11th respectively. The Q3 shootout, just 6 drivers left. First out was Philipp Schiap, the 3-time world champion from CTIC, not finding the pace out there in either lap. Perhaps a little shaken by his Q3 crash the day before, he sets a lackluster lap time. Next man out, Jonas Andersson. He continues his fine pace from the previous day, handily beating Schiap by 0.76 seconds to take provisional pole. Alex Carella followed Andersson out on the circuit, eager for a repeat of his pole win the day before, and he nailed it. 51.51 seconds, bumps Anderson down to second, but will it be good enough for pole? After a horrendous qualifying the day before, Torrente was a new man out there. Incredible pace, aggressive driving from the American. He wants it, and he gets it. One lap is all it took. Torrente on pole, but he's not satisfied. He lays an even faster lap time on lap 2, 50.87.
I'm just excited because the guys, they keep their head up and they keep working. And even if they beat us, we had a really good lap. I mean, if they beat us, but we had our best stuff today.
Peter Marin of CTIC has his work cut out for him, but he looked up to the task, tight on those turns, fast down those straights, a devil-be-damned run. Did he get it? 51.23, he beats everyone except Torrente. One driver left, Marit Stromoy. She was fastest in both Q1 and Q2 and went out for pole, but disappointing run from her, finishes 5th ahead of Xiamen. What a victory for Sean Torrente. He leads the Rebellion Pole Position Championship, and he is in prime place to start the Censtar Grand Prix of China with his crucial Rebellion official qualifying win. Peter Marin is second with Corella starting in third, and Jonas Andersson within striking distance in fourth.
But it's just a credit to the guys, man. We went to work last night, looked at what we made. We looked ourselves in the mirror and knew we got our butt kicked basically yesterday. And we went back to the drawing board, looked at the data. I took a hard look at how I was running the race course and said I had to be better. So we got better today. We got half the job done. Now we got to go finish the race.
The UIM F1 H2O family were treated to a sumptuous gala dinner as drivers, crews, locals, and organizers mingled and had fun, putting the day's stress and excitement behind them. Race day, the Censtar Grand Prix of China, round 5 of the 2019 UIM F1 H2O season. Rough waters and strong winds on the day. This is the last chance for CTIC's Peter Marin and Philippe Xiamen to get a podium here for the local fans. This is also the last race before the final round in Sharjah. Team Abu Dhabi's Daniel Kamzi and Sean Torrente need big points to reclaim their top spots in the standings. Marit Stromoy could put a wrench in the Abu Dhabi plans, but the man on top after the previous day is Jonas Andersson. In front of Andersson is Corella. Can he keep up the good form after yesterday's win? The parade lap, drivers and UIM officials greet the crowds who have gathered by the thousands along the shore to watch as Torrente starts in pole position. Torrente's biggest world title rivals, Andersson and Stromoy, P4 and P5. Xiamen 6th, Al-Kamzi P7, then Eden, Comparato, and Celio completing the first 10 on the start pontoon. Victory driver Eric Stark has his work cut out for him way back in 15th. The final moments before the penultimate race of the year. Will the champion be decided here? The teams are ready, the lights go out, the race is on. The opening drag race to the commitment buoy. Torrente on the inside-most lane. Sammy Celio has a rough start in 10th as he watches Comparato to his left and his teammate Philip Roms to his right pull away. Cedric Deguin of Maverick F1 also left in the spray as Stark's blue victory boat speeds ahead to Deguin's starboard. The top three are neck and neck, going absolutely all out, but Torrente to the left and Corella to the right of Marin start pulling away as the CTIC driver tries to keep up. Torrente shoots out and is first to the commitment buoy. To the outside, Alex Corella in second, but can Peter Marin use his inside lane advantage to hold on to P2? Eric Eden, who started in 8th, has teammate Jonas Andersson in his sights, with Al-Kamzi on the outside, fighting to hold on to 7th. Out in the lead is Sean Torrente, already pulling away from a fleet of challengers behind him. Alex Corella in second, then Peter Marin, Marit Stromoy, then Xiamen. Jonas Andersson has fallen back to 6th, losing 2 positions. In a fight for 7th, Swedish youngster Eric Eden takes on veteran Daniel Kamzi in a drag race on the straightaway. Eden holding the Emirati ace off for now. On that same straightaway, Bartek Marszalek of Emirates Racing challenges last year's world runner-up Eric Stark. Marszalek finding the speed on the outside, and he does it. The Polish driver moves up to 13th position. As Torrente builds a 3-second lead in the Grand Prix of China, Carilla has pipped Marin for second. Anderson slips back to 6th, his world standings lead in jeopardy. Eden up in 7th with Al-Khamzi behind him, then Comparato of F1 Atlantic in 9th with Roms, Foster and Celio behind him. Eden's 7th position is short-lived, however, as Thani Al-Khamzi zips past, overhauling the Swede. Eden refuses to back down, giving hot pursuit to Al-Khamzi on the inside, the Swede looking for some clean water on the outside. He ducks in and the two lock horns in a drag race down the next straightaway. Al-Khamzi nudges ahead, but Eden pushes him out from the inside, and Eric Eden does it. Eden takes back 7th from Al-Khamzi. The cat and mouse between Eden and Al-Khamzi continues, this time with the Emirati on the inside. Eden to his right, staying tight. Al-Khamzi moves ahead, but Eden is keeping up. In a repeat of last lap, but with roles reversed, this time it's Al-Khamzi who pushes Eden wide and tucks into the turn to take back 7th as positions change hands once again between these dueling daredevils. There's a yellow flag, Cedric de Guin crashes out, and that will eradicate Torrente's lead as the field compresses. Here's the replay from de Guin's onboard camera. The Frenchman catches an edge, and it's a hard roll, but at least lands right side up.
There is a lot of wave on the turn 7, and when I arrive inside, the boat goes down and turn completely, and the engine go out of the boat, just maintained by the cable.
Problems for Sharjah teams Philip Roms and Victory's Eric Stark, who are both back on the pontoon. Tough break for Stark, disappointing opening weekend with his new team. Philip Roms may yet go back out. His team worked to get him back in before the green flag restart. The race is back on. Schiap attacking Murat Stromoy as they come around. Carilla attacking hard on Torrente. Too hard. He goes over. Carilla does a full flip in the air. That is a huge crash. Lap 6, and it's yet another yellow flag. Carilla's boat in pieces. Carilla's okay though, as the Osprey rescue team pull up to fish the 4-time world champion out. Here it is on the replay. Carilla goes for it, trying to get the jump on Torrente, catches air, and the rest is history. With the winds and the waves here, it is a very fine line between smooth speed and disaster. He was hungry for success after so much frustration, but his ambition got the better of him this time. Carilla unhurt, his race is over. Meanwhile, Roms back on the pontoon as Sharjah team fix the problem and get their driver back out, but Roms loses 2 laps in the process. The race under a second yellow flag as drivers await the restart 10 laps into the race. The green flag is up, the race is back on. Following Carilla's crash, Peter Marin moves up to 2nd position behind Sean Torrente, but Torrente has managed to keep the lead after 2 restarts. Behind Marin, Murat Stromoy in 3rd is fending off Schiap in 4th. The back and forth between Eric Eden and Thani Al-Khamzi continues as Al-Khamzi challenges Eden for 6th position. Al-Khamzi cuts in on the inside and he slips past Eden as they switch positions yet again. The battle for 3rd heats up as Schiap pushes on the outside, trying to get around Stromoy, but the Emirates Racing driver keeps her nerve, holding off an aggressive drive from Schiap, who finally wants to at least complete a race in 2019. Back in 9th, 2-time world champion Sami Celio is chasing F1 Atlantic driver Alberto Comparato. The Italian got 8th place the day before. He wants to add more points here to his 7 overall. Almost halfway through the race, Sean Torrente is maintaining his lead, but Peter Marin is trying to close the gap as they come around the yellow right-hander. Marin 1.87 seconds behind Torrente. Stromoy in 3rd and on target for more points in a bid for a year-end podium. Schiap giving chase to her in 4th. World standings leader Anderson up a place in 5th, but he's almost 12 seconds behind Torrente. Back in the field behind Sami Celio, the Blaze Performance teammates lock horns as Cantando has managed to move up to 10th from 17th ahead of teammate Greg Foster. The epic Al-Khamzi-Eden battle continues full steam as Eden gives chase, but Al-Khamzi makes a mistake on lap 22 and he lands hard. His race comes to a disappointing end as he's towed off, and it's yet another yellow flag.
The race, it was very rough and brought many traffic. I flipped my boat.
Definitely a challenging course as the heated race claims its 4th DNF of the day. Boats line up for the 3rd restart with just 10 laps left. The green flag is up again and the race resumes. Peter Marin tries to get a jump on Torrente, knowing this might be his best and last chance, but Torrente slips from Marin's grasp to hold on to his lead. But Xiamen makes no mistake. He uses the restart to get past Stromoy, and this time Anderson is right up there with her. The two lock horns in a battle for 4th place. But Anderson gets past her. Stromoy loses 2 positions, a big blow. And now it's Peter Marin who has a problem. Marin slows as his teammate Xiamen moves up into 2nd position. Tough end for Marin. Meanwhile, Sami Celio gets past Alberto Comparato and sets his sights on Eric Eden. Comparato bumped down to 9th position. Comparato veers off his race line and he nearly collides with Cantando, who narrowly avoids going over. Cantando slows down and pulls off the race course, reducing the field even further with just 10 boats left in the race. Here it is on the replay. Comparato veers off the race line, Cantando barely escaping a crash, but his boat is damaged. Jonas Andersson is not complaining, however, as he finds himself up in 3rd behind Torrente and Xiamen, with Stromoy behind him in 4th, then Eden moving up to 5th, followed by Sami Celio, who moves up to 6th. Stromoy knows she could have been in 2nd at this point, but she at least wants to hang on to 4th. Yet another crash, Alberto Comparato. That is a huge splash. He's angry and his boat is sinking as he tries to get out, his right sponson in pieces. Bad luck for the young driver. That is another yellow flag.
Young Comparato, there was no space. We were fighting together and I had no way to go. So he just closed me the way and that's the result. And then he flipped out. Maybe he's also because he broke his boat against mine. I don't know.
With just 9 boats left, the laps running out, the race ended under a yellow flag. Torrente is back. Jean Torrente took the Censtar Grand Prix of China title, his 9th career win. Xiamen finally completes a race and gets his first podium since London 2018. Anderson still manages to get 12 points and a podium in 3rd.
Yeah, I didn't have the setup for today. I was totally lost. It was terrible to drive today. And then they start to drop off and then the boat was a little better in the end. Maybe the weather was better, I don't know, or maybe me. So I'm very, very happy with 3rd. It's incredible.
Stromoy 4th and still on track for a year-end podium.
Yeah, I tried to hold Xiamen on my outside and whoops, there was Jonas on the inside. And I went up in there and then I think Xiamen came as well. But it was a very tight race. It was fun. I wish I was on the podium, but we're still 3rd in the championship and it's important.
Great result for Team Sweden as Eden also finishes in the top 5, Celio with his best result of the year in 6th, and only 3 other drivers completing the race, Marshall X 7th, Foster 8th, and Delpine 9th. Team Abu Dhabi's lock on the team championship standings continues, 91 points, with Team Sweden in 2nd on 69 points, followed by Emirates Racing in 3rd.
It's a very hard race. It's a lot of rough and difficult to find the good way and stay on the water. But I have experience with my boat and it's easy to finish the race. I'm very sad for my teammate because he makes a very good race. Okay, it's a game, but sometimes it's very hard.
Crazy race. Everybody was coming for me. I was just trying to manage the race. I'm just thinking about the championship. I knew Jonas was back there in 4th and 5th. He actually ended up 3rd, but it's just about getting in front of that championship. We're so happy to get the win, especially after yesterday, man. We just got our butt kicked yesterday, and the team all rallied, and we just did a great job, all of us together, the whole team, from front to back, and we come back and got a win, a pole and a win.
Torrente is back on top of the world standings, 5 points clear of Jonas Andersen in second, Stromoy in third on 37 points, then Alkamzi fourth. The championship is still wide open, and all will be decided in the final round. As the UIM F1 H2O flag is passed on, that completes the historic back-to-back Grand Prix in Xiamen. See you in the United Arab Emirates, where Sharjah hosts the final round, where the 2019 UIM F1 H2O World Championship will be decided.